Step into the Fieldhouse, your front row seat to legendary victories and untold stories. Hey, I'm your host, Lance Leonard, breaking down sports from the inside out, along with co-host Jimmy Lackey. It's more than just a game. It's the Fieldhouse Podcast. Hey, welcome into the Fieldhouse Podcast. We are a production of the Kids Inc. Sports Network. Can't thank you enough for joining us today. I'm your co-host, Lance Leonard, co-host, CEO, and Prez, Jimmy Lackey, the main man at Kids Inc. Jimmy, number 77. But we got to start off with what's the best thing that happened to you today?
Who?
Or maybe the last 2 days.
Well,
since we do this in the morning.
Last night, and I want to thank you for doing that for us. Lance emceed opening ceremonies for our draft softball leagues last night. Angela Greason, who heads up our softball program, wanted to do an opening ceremonies. They'd never done that before, and our staff went out and helped, and all the kiddos got their jerseys and were able to get changed into those, and then you introduced them. We brought them all out on the field individually by teams, and gave them a chance to get their pictures made and all that kind of stuff. So that was a lot of fun, and I appreciate you doing that. You always add a lot of flavor when you come do the emceeing on stuff like that. So, and we got a lot of good feedback, and Angela was just glowing when it was over. She was so excited that we got to do that.
I think it's a big thrill for the kids too.
I think the parents enjoyed it too.
Yeah, they do. I think they do. Everybody getting together. It's kind of cool.
Haley texted me. She said she stayed to get some food for her kids, and she was standing there talking to a parent and the kid asked, "When do we get to do this again?" So take that as a good sign.
Yeah. Well, if the kids are having fun and it went fast, your staff is amazing.
They do a great job. They just step up.
Yeah, no one wants to sit there for 2 or 3 hours and listen to all that.
We did that in about 45 minutes.
Yeah.
We started.
Parents really enjoyed it. So it's so fun to see those little ones out there, though. Yeah. I was telling you, coming into the parking lot, number 11 for one of the teams. She hops out of the car and she goes, "Let's go."
Yep. Well, I've got to thank Amarillo ISD for letting us do that. Kirk Self letting us use that facility. We did the boys baseball stuff at Hodgetown.
Yeah, that was going to be one of my questions. Let's just hit on that. I mean, you guys had an amazing night there.
They would probably kill for the crowd we had there that night. Girls, I don't know how many we had there at the Hodgetown deal. Of course, we have 130 baseball teams involved right now as opposed to 30 or 35 softball teams. And so you can think of the difference what you saw last night versus that volume of people. Yeah. But that's a big deal. The kids get to go down, get introduced as a team. Coach gets their name called out and get some team pictures made. And when you're a kid, that's
what it's all about, man.
That's a big deal. It doesn't matter the field. Next year, the plan is we'll be doing that at Rock Rose. So now we won't be able to do the boys there. There's just no way logistically we could do that at Rock Rose, but the softball deal, we'll have plenty of room for that and maybe jazz it up.
And real quick, more. Jimmy, I mean, that's a new part of Kids Inc. is the marriage of these two organizations. So that's why we're talking about it, really, because it's a brand new experience for everybody involved.
Yeah. Well, first off, we brought in these 4 baseball and softball programs. You've got Amarillo Area Youth Baseball, you've got the Canyon Baseball Association, you got West Texas Baseball League, and then you got West Texas Fast Pitch. And our goal was not to change the format of play, team formation process, any of that. We do the draft, we do the evaluations for the draft leagues. We didn't want to change any of that. We don't want to change any of the format that Rob and them have built up all these years. But if we can add things like what we did last night for the softball group.
Yeah.
We were up 300 kids in baseball this year from what they had last year. We took that as a positive. And we're up a little over 100 kids in softball compared to what they had last year. And so when you do the math, it's about an equal percentage of increase for both programs. You saw what you saw last night. Those little kids are excited about doing what they do. They look sharp in their little unis with the bright tops and stuff. And so
there are no longer basic white and a number jerseys.
No.
You know what I mean?
No, the neon pink, the neon green, and the neon orange were bright from the press box. Yeah, you could see them from a mile away.
I will say it's also the professionalism you're bringing to it. For instance, making the playing fields for the baseball team specifically out at Rick Klein. You're really working on the infields, trying to give them the best possible experience as well that way. I think that needs to be said.
Well,
think
really about who we've got working out there right now. We got the lease. Texas Panhandle Youth Sports Foundation had the lease on Rick Klein Park since February of 23. And when they merged their programs into ours, one of the things we had to go through was switching that lease over from them to us, but that has to be done by the city, has to be approved by city council. And so we went through the negotiations of what that was going to include. There were some things they could no longer do, like one of the big ones was they could no longer allow city equipment to be used out there.
Wow.
And
okay.
that's, you start thinking about equipment that it takes to run 6 baseball fields, dollars start going cha-ching real fast. And so and then you got to have the people to do that with. Rob's been doing it pretty much by himself all these years, and I know he's had some other help, but for the most part, he's been in charge of that. And so Craig had a relationship with Coy Daniel, and Coy worked at BSA, ran at their 8 campuses of grounds, and knows what he's doing in terms of landscape, sprinklers, all the things that it takes to keep all that up and going. And so we were able to get Coy to come to work in February, and he's the lead over all of our facilities. And, of course, Rock Rose will be the big one once we get up and going with it. But he's going to Hereford. He's fixing valves and leaks and things over there too. But he's been working with the city, and we found the 2 main valves. One of those had been completely shut off. He kept saying, I just don't have the water pressure we should have. Oh, I wouldn't know that. I wouldn't have a clue
where
to even start.
Yeah.
And, he located all the valves. And so James Stowe at the city and got with Coy and his folks, and they found the problem. And all of a sudden, Coy said he was out there, and all of a sudden the sprinkler just went
like
and
it should.
Now we've got pressure, and so he can do the things he wants to do. A young man named TK works out there, and he's been working with Rob for several years, and TK's awesome. He gets out there and gets on those fields. He gets them mowed. He gets them striped and ready for each evening. And then we just hired John Doan. I'm sure a lot of people will know John. John was the baseball coach at Canyon High School for well over 20 years, and he's retired, and he's umpiring and refereeing basketball and football now, but he had time in the mornings to come out. And Coy just said, Jimmy, the only thing I don't know how to do is infields. And so I picked up the phone and I called 2 people. I called Dick Jones and I called John Doan. And Doan called back first, and I said, hey, would you mind going out with Coy and showing him some stuff about infields? And he said, Jimmy, I'd be happy to help. And I said, done, you're hired. And so he's focused in on the infields, and with Coach Doan and Coy and all the crew out there. And then they've got one other gentleman, Albert Castillo, helping them. We've got a full crew working out there. And so I think give the summer, if we get a little bit of rain, we've got the equipment. The Texas Panhandle Youth Sports Foundation donated $75,000 to help us get equipment. We've probably kicked in that much on our end, if not more. We've invested well over $150,000 in all the equipment out there to run that park the way it needs to be run and make it look like it should. And so I think if we can get the summer to get – I know Coy wants to overseed and aerate and do the things that, you do to the grounds. I think come fall ball, I think they'll look completely different. So
that's cool.
We've got the folks to handle it. We got the lease approved, I guess, a week and a half ago from the city, and so now it's ours to operate.
Yeah, no big changes. I mean,
it's big, and it's a big deal. I mean, it's 6 natural turf, grass, and infields, and so it's a lot of work. A lot of work.
Well, and I know the players and the coaches will appreciate once they're out on the field who have previously been doing it, because it's a big deal to have a nice infield. It's not easy to do either.
Oh gosh, no.
I mean, that's why those guys
not in our part of the world. Particularly this year with lack of rain.
Baseball coaches are weird that way, though. Not weird. That's kind of a strong word, but a lot of people don't realize, man, you had to mow your grass out there and things like that. And you talk to them, and they go, "That is my happy space.
That's what they want to do.
That's my zen time. I get away out of school." Yeah, they get to drive that, and a lot of them fall in love with taking care of a field that way. Yeah. So, all right, we're number 77. We have a tradition here on the Fieldhouse Podcast. We pick a player that we admired growing up or whatever, and today is 77. Go ahead and lead us off. Who's your 70?
So, I'll go first.
Yeah.
Probably one that a lot of people aren't going to know. A guy named Matt Burke.
I don't know.
Matt played for the Vikings for 10 years, played for the Ravens for 14. He was a finalist for the Walter Payton Man of the Year Award. He's a Harvard graduate.
Wow.
From Minnesota. He came to Amarillo several years ago and did a speaking engagement out at Region 16, and I was invited to come to it and got to meet him. He came to our office, and he and I did our own little interview while he was here. Really big, tall guy, but smart. And he was the NFL Director of Operations.
Wow.
Director of Player Development for the NFL for a while. He founded a Catholic high school back near his home in Minnesota. And just a really, really, really sharp guy. And, having the opportunity to meet him personally and going back and looking at 77s, he probably would have never been my 77 had I not had the opportunity to meet him.
No, that's what it's about. That's what our numbers are about.
He is impressive and sharp, and all you got to do is Google Matt Birk, and it's Birk. Really, really sharp guy. Nice. And you'll see some good
Harvard
things.
grad, could you tell?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And not by any arrogance by any means. He didn't have that air about him.
Yeah.
He was just sharp.
Yeah.
He was brilliantly sharp, and obviously going to be very successful. I think he's 49 now, but he played 14 years.
To get out of the NFL healthy at 14 years, especially at that position.
So. Yeah, very much so.
My guy is Carlin Mecklenburg. He was number 77 for the Broncos. Yep. They also had Lyle Alzado there for a while, but he is more of a Raider. But Carlin, he played 12 years. They didn't win a Super Bowl with him, but he was one of the most popular players because he was just like he was a Minnesotan also, you know what I mean? Yeah. And but he played from 83 to 94, not in the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Really?
No, he is not. And he was but here's the cool thing about Carlin Mecklenburg. He went to Augustana, I think of Minnesota, but he was a 12th round pick. They don't even go that far now, basically. 12th round draft pick.
Wow.
And he was a 6-time Pro Bowler. So he was just a kind of a fan favorite type player, you know what I mean? Who played real hard, but 77 in the and he played defense, Orange Crush, the whole thing.
The book, we had to look at the book just now. Red Grange.
Red Grange is number one.
Face, And
no one remembers Red Grange anymore, though.
Yeah, that's showing our age.
The Galloping Ghost. Yeah. So, hey, I had one I wanted to start off with today, real quick, if you don't mind. Kentucky Derby went over the weekend. Everybody's busy this time of year, kind of caught up on us. But the thing that's crazy about this, Golden Tempo wins this. All right, a dramatic race. If you want to watch it online, go. You'll enjoy it. Just grab the last stretch run. Comes from basically last place to first place. I think there were 22 horses in it. But here's my question for you. Golden Tempo is not running in the Preakness, okay? None of the Kentucky Derby horses are because it's too soon. And I admire these trainers and these owners. They're taking in consideration the health of the horses rather than the glory of winning the Triple Crown, which the Triple Crown is still pretty cool. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Winning the Kentucky Derby, the Preakness, and the Belmont. I think horse racing, to get eyes on their sport, has to move that race back a week or two so you do have the Kentucky Derby. There's so many eyes on the Kentucky Derby, but to have that winner give them a chance to get healthy. And it's the first female trainer in the history of the Kentucky Derby to win the race. And she flat out said, we could try to get our horse ready, but it's not going to happen.
Well, and only the second female trainer, period, to win one of the Triple Crown races.
That's pretty cool. Yeah. Did you see the video of her going crazy? Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, couldn't catch her breath.
I love joy. I
could not catch her breath. It was authentic. It was
pure joy and enthusiasm.
But to watch the race, my granddad raced horses, so I grew up watching race horses. Yeah, he had quarter horses. We didn't have thoroughbreds. We had quarter horses, and so I was around that as a kid. I mean, I can remember when the Triple Crown was the thing for the year. It was up there with the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
I would say it might have been plateaued over the Masters back in those days when I was young. It was a big deal. World Series was real popular back in those days too. But the Triple Crown thing,
big deal.
You didn't see
Secretariat.
I remember it well. But this horse, and the two brothers finished 1-2 in this race. and one of them was kind of up in the favorites, and then he passed him right there at the end, and you saw him grab hands right there as they crossed the finish line, those two brothers.
Yeah.
Pretty cool deal, too, there.
Yeah, it's very expensive to be into horse racing, but the genuine joy of winning a race and thing like that, even if they're millionaires or whatever, I really respect that about that event.
Yeah.
But I like
the horse races my granddad had. We weren't in the millionaire club for sure.
Yeah.
They were just horses. We went to Raton and raced horses.
There was a horse from Dalhart actually called Mind That Bird. Well, not the horse itself, but the trainer.
Yeah,
grew up in Dalhart and actually brought Mind That Bird to the Derby in a trailer from Texas.
Yep.
And a friend of mine was going to the race, so I gave him $50 to bet just to Mind That Bird to win it because he was from Dalhart. And lo and behold, he won it. Yeah. I think I won $940 out of $50, which isn't bad.
That's cool.
Yeah. Hey, speaking of that, you brought that up, and my question is going to be the Kentucky Derby. I've never gone. I've always wanted to go, just to experience that. I guess it's a madhouse in there if you don't have the elite seats, but this is a long list, but I want you, and you kind of went down it, but if you had 5, I'm giving you 5 events to go to, okay? And I'll give you my 5, but what are must-see for you?
I'm going to write yours down.
Because the FIFA Cup, the World Cup's coming, here this year. And, that's a bucket list for a lot of people who get to see this event in Arlington during the summer, but mine would be, obviously, I've lived out one of them, the Masters. That's on my list. I would say go to a Super Bowl and sit in the game would be cool. Game 7 of the Stanley Cup, because I would like to see them skate in person. When they hold up the cup and skate it around the ice, and then Kentucky Derby is definitely on my list. So, what's your list?
I'm writing them down.
Okay.
Kim and I went on the grounds of Churchill Downs one time when we were out visiting. It wasn't open. There was actually some construction going on over on one side of the road. Have you ever been to the grounds itself?
No.
So, I'm gonna try to explain how this would be. You would think this would be off of an interstate or off a major highway, and when you drive by, you would see the downs.
Yeah.
Like you do in Ruidoso or anywhere else. Okay, we play a lot of games at South Lawn Park. If you know where South Lawn Park is over there off 46th, and think of that being Churchill Downs and housing being all around it.
Really?
100%.
Wow.
Yeah, it's an older part of the community there, and it's homes that were probably built in the 60s and 70s maybe.
Yeah. Wow.
And this place sits right in the middle of this neighborhood. It's not all – you have to drive back into these neighborhoods to get to it. It's not off the highway. It's really interesting how you get to it.
Huh.
I was shocked about that.
Yeah.
And but, yeah, we went and walked around the grounds. Just to be on the grounds was pretty cool.
That's cool.
My granddad raced horses, so a little bit of that nostalgia in me there too. But you would be shocked as to how that place is located. It's not the easiest place to get to, and I can't imagine on Derby Day
what's it like
going through all those neighborhoods to get back to that place. I can't imagine what that's like. I cannot imagine what that's like.
That's cool.
I've got Super Bowl probably be, even though my TV's better. I wrote Game 7 of a World Series. If I
like that.
If I like see a World Series.
Yeah.
Obviously, you know me. I'd love to be at the Masters.
Yeah.
I'd love to be at a college football national championship sometime.
That's a good one.
I think that would be good.
With a particular team in it?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
I just think it would be just to go one time. But again, my TV is going to be a better look. And I wrote down a U.S. Open at Pebble Beach. I think I might like to see one of those at some point in time.
Yeah. I like that. I would like just to play Pebble Beach. I think we all would.
Back in my prime, I would have liked to play Pebble Beach. I don't
no, the scenery alone.
Yeah.
I'm a scenery guy. So
the wind wouldn't bother me because I grew up playing in the wind. That's the thing we've got.
The wind doesn't bother us.
Yeah, we've got that in our favor. But I got a feeling that ocean wind's a little different.
Yeah. Hey, I want to give a shout out. We have the golf, tennis, and then the state track meets up next week for all our local athletes who have a chance to participate in that. It's a massive deal. But the track meet especially, Jimmy, track's like an unforgiving sport. By the unforgiving, I mean it's brutal to prepare for it, and it's not popular. You don't get the big Friday night crowds out there, and you're grinding, and running is difficult, or pole vaulting or long distance running. You're putting in all these times away from the field. But to get to Mike A. Myers, Austin, Texas, and when the lights go on, and there can be anywhere from 15,000 to even if it's 5,000 in there, you're running in front of all those people. It is such a joy for those athletes just to make it down there because it's so hard. We have 4 regions in Texas. Top 2 from each region go, and then a wild card time or height or jump qualifies. So we have several athletes. Canyon, obviously the Canyon boys won the regional track meet. The Canyon girls got second. And then Addison Bristow down there at Canyon, one of the prolific runners we've ever had in the 806. I think she has 10 or 11 state medals already, state champion in track and cross country, and then this will be her swan song. But it's a big deal to get down there, but to get a chance to step on that track, it is so special for those athletes.
Have you been to state track meet?
Yeah, many a time. In fact,
I've only been once.
Yeah, I've been.
Probably one of my favorite things that I ever went to.
Is that right?
Yeah,
that's cool
really
to know.
was.
Yeah,
this was back before they had the new stadium. This was when it was in Memorial
Stadium. Yeah. And what's kind of neat about that, believe it or not, Jimmy, they get to that track is so packed at Mike A. Myers. You've got all these events going on. They let them warm up in Memorial Stadium. Mm-hmm. It's just across the street.
Yep.
So you actually go down on the field at Memorial Stadium where the University of Texas plays football.
Nobody else goes on the field.
No.
Coaches, nobody.
Nobody gets down there.
It's just the runners and the workers. And
it is a very special,
job.
And we have some great athletes who are going to bring back some golds, you know what I mean? So it's going to be an exciting time, but I want to give a shout out to all those athletes. And the golf's just as big a deal, and so is the tennis, you know what I mean? To get down to state and compete against, we kind of get lost up here sometimes.
Did I ever tell you about the time we went? So Kim, this was Kim's first year at coaching at Highland Park, her first year teaching and coaching. And she had a kid qualified in the 3,200, and so we got to go to Austin. Tex Nolan was the principal at Highland Park High School at the time. So Tex was an old track coach.
Yeah, big time. Dalhart guy, too.
Yeah, so his wife Pat was my PE teacher in 3rd and 4th grade in Dumas when Tex was coaching in Sunray before they went to Dalhart. And so we go to the track meeting. It's time to leave, and he's got the keys to the car, and he left the car running with the keys in it. So we had to call the airport.
What?
Oh yeah, we had to call the airport, and they had to bring another set of keys. It was about 45 minutes.
You couldn't get somebody to unlock it?
No. And so we get to the stadium. God rest your soul, Tex. But I'm telling.
No, we love this. Yeah,
I'm telling a story on you. So we get there, and I've never been to the University of Texas. I've never been on the campus. I've certainly never been in the stadium, so I'm pretty jacked about going to this track
for sure.
And it's big. I mean, you know how that stadium is. It's just massive. We're walking, and we're probably, 150, 200 feet from the arched entrance. Ladies and gentlemen, could we have your attention, please? So we stop. We have a new national record in the 4x100 meter relay, Jasper High School, 39.9, and we just missed it. And we are giving. Tex never heard the end of it. We missed this national record by 10 minutes.
Yeah. That's what's amazing.
That was my first trip to the track meet at Austin.
That is cool. That's a cool
first
story.
and only.
Yeah, I saw RG3 run the hurdles as a junior there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my gosh, what did I just see? And he went early to Baylor. But he did not run the hurdles his senior year. So he'd have been a senior in high school, Jimmy, and he was at Baylor, and he ran track that spring for him, and won the Big 12 title.
Yeah, I'll roll the clock back for you. This would have been my junior year in high school. Brian Millard, who you'll remember, Brian. This was back when 4A was the highest classification. We were 3A. Brian set a new state record in the shot put, threw it 63 feet I think I'm right, 63 feet at the 3A level. Michael Carter.
Yes.
Do you remember that name?
Yeah.
Played for the Niners.
Niners, right.
Won the Olympics in the shot.
Yeah.
Threw it 75 feet in the 4A. Brian sets a record in 3A. And this guy in the next classification does it 12 feet farther than Brian did.
Yeah.
And Brian was a big boy.
Yeah. There's some amazing performances down there. I saw a 200-meter record, a national record set. It's pretty cool.
That would have been in 79. That would have been 79.
Yeah, that was before
Brian
I even got here. But yeah. That's awesome.
While I'm at that, shout out to my friend Kent Hazen, one of Brian's teammates, a bunch of guys that I know real well. Kent's getting inducted into the Dumas High School Hall of Fame tomorrow. Probably the best athlete I ever knew.
Really?
Growing up, and the most kind and humble gentleman you would ever meet.
That is cool.
But he and another friend of ours, Chad Beatty, are getting inducted at Dumas tomorrow. I'm really happy for them. I'm going to go to the ceremony, but I'm thrilled for Kent. He moved here when he was a freshman. My dad got to coach him, and anybody that's listened to this that knows me and knows that bunch will echo Kent Hazen's one of the finest people you'll ever meet. So we're all really proud for Kent.
That's cool. That's a big deal to get your alma mater honored like that. So, it's a great time. I will say this. Speaking of real quick, I have a quick car left running story, if you don't mind, real quick. I've covered the Clovis Emerald High football game. They used to always open up for a dozen years at the Globe News. I drive down to Clovis, and I have an old Chevy Citation. By the way, Todd Mayfield and his brother didn't know they ran that car into the ground, and I bought it from a used car lot.
Oh, my goodness.
And they owned it previously.
Wow.
And they used to do reverse donies in it. So shout out to you guys for ruining that car before I got it. But anyway, I get to Clovis parking lot. I click my key off, and it brakes in it. So the car's running, all right? I got to cover this football game for the Globe News. You know what I mean? So my car is running in the Clovis parking lot the whole time this game's going on. So I don't know what to do, so I just drive it low on gas. Of course, you're a poor sports writer at the Globe News. So I left – I think it's illegal, but I left it running to fill it up or get some gas in it in Farwell, okay? Drive it home, leave it running all night. Don't know what to do, you know what I mean? And then drove it to a key place the next morning. And they figured it out and got the key out. So that's my story. But I left that car running that long. I wouldn't have. I was going to be stuck in Clovis. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. And Eric Roanhouse just he was the coach at Clovis. They won the game, so he was in a good mood. And I told him the story before I was leaving. He goes, I don't believe this, Leonard. So he comes over to my car and it's running. You know what I mean? So yeah. Left on lock, but that's it happens, I guess.
Coach Roanhouse. Well, he was a legend.
Yeah. He was the quote of all quotes. Hey, a couple of I want to bring one national thing to you. Aaron Rodgers, very not a controversial, but a very skilled quarterback, but up in age. You know what I mean? In his 40s now, he has decided to return to the Steelers. It looks like. Well, what do you think about guys hanging on?
He can still play. He can't play like he did 10 years ago. I don't know. You got to give him a little bit of a credit. I mean, the guy comes back from an Achilles, 2 years ago?
Yeah, 2 years ago, right.
And still that's the difference, Lance, between a wannabe like me and that level of player. That competitive juice is just it's a different brand of juice than I've ever had in my lifetime. And there was a time I loved to compete, but I think I told you this story, and this was my aha moment. Playing golf with Tom Dowdy one time, first time I ever got to play golf with Tom Dowdy, and we played, and getting to play Emerald Country Club, and I'm hanging in there, I mean, I'm not going to beat him by any means, but I'm playing with him and David Waite and Ed Wright. Dowdy hits his ball in a trap on the right side on number 9 on that par 5. He's 195 out, takes a 4-iron, and just shapes it perfectly and throws it up there 5 feet from the pin. And that moment right there is where I knew the dividing line between that level of golfer and who I thought I was as a golfer. And I played pretty good golf, but I didn't play that good of golf.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we're talking about here with an Aaron Rodgers type guy. In his mind, he still thinks he's 25. And, I have to give guys credit for that. You just hope they don't get hurt. You hope they don't take that one shot that just maims them for life that they really shouldn't have. But I don't think he's at that point. I think the guy can still play. He can certainly still throw the football.
Yeah.
He's a leader. He's no nonsense.
Yeah.
And if you can take that, man, you got a new football coach there, probably could use that leadership this first year. We'll see.
Yeah, no, I like your points. And obviously me being an older guy, I'm okay with it. I really am. And here's the deal. Anybody that doesn't think the NFL, if you can't play, there are no gifts. You know what I mean? You still have to be able to perform at that high level. And you're taking advantage of somebody who has won a Super Bowl, who has the mind of basically a quarterback genius. So when things are going crazy out there, he's the calm of the storm, which you want in any NFL quarterback. But, yeah, if he couldn't play, they would not allow him out there. I'm with you, Jimmy. There's an injury waiting to happen, unfortunately. If you're in the NFL, it's not when, but when you get hurt. It's not if, but when you get hurt.
Those guys aren't getting any smaller.
Exactly.
And they're getting much faster.
Yeah. So, but I applaud it. Why not? You know what I mean? But my saving grace is if he could not get it done physically and hurt the team, they're not going to let him out there. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I'm okay with it.
He's a unique cat, though.
Yeah,
he lives in his own cocoon. That's what makes him a little different than maybe somebody else I might mention. Because he just lives in his own little cocoon.
As many interviews as I've done, you kind of look at somebody like that, and even high school kids have it. You're like interviewing them, and like, I wonder what is going through this mind. Mm-hmm. Because I'm not on their level. I'm not even near what they're trying to comprehend here. So it makes it special.
It's been made public. He's somewhat estranged from his family.
Oh, yeah, totally.
He's just a different duck.
Yeah, he is.
And he sits out there alone because I can only think when we were younger, there was only one guy that was older that played football like that in the NFL. Do you remember who that was?
Well, for us?
When we were younger, there
George
was
Blanda?
George Blanda.
Yeah,
he was a kicker and a quarterback.
Yeah. But you look at his photos when he was like 48 or 50.
Yeah.
Or 44, whatever. He looks like he's 70.
Exactly. That's my
point. And
you
get a Tom Brady who looks like he's 35. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. So, well, you and I both know Brady could still play if he wanted to.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Hands down, he could still play.
He just can't run. He can't run away from anything, though. Yeah.
No, but, George
game's changed.
George Blanda was the only unicorn back in the day that played up into that age group.
Of course, quarterbacks were different back then. Sonny Jurgensen,
the game was different. Yeah, the game was different.
Yeah, just go get it done. So yeah. That's pretty much all I had for the day. I mean,
a couple of shout outs on my side.
Yeah, go for it.
I want to tell all the people that helped us run all of our track meets this year. We had our staff goes out and runs the 5th and 6th grade meets, and the difference in track for our program versus any other sport, football, volleyball, basketball, coaches can handle those teams, but somebody's got to organize those track meets. And we have good meet coordinators that go out and run our younger kids in the parks, and then our staff goes out and runs the 5th and 6th grade meets. They do a great job. We were running that 5th and 6th grade meet in less than an hour and a half this year. And the staff did a really, really, really good job with those. So that's a shout-out to them for 4 Saturdays in a row to go out and help with all those. And then I went over Saturday morning for just a bit with our tennis program that we do with Alex O'Brien. And, boy, that program's still going strong. Nina, the new director over at the tennis center, does a good job. And then Renee Stovall, who heads that up for Alex's foundation. And then Alex comes out and works with the kiddos too. Shout out to all the volunteers. And what's really cool, what's made it a big hit, is he gets the different high schools. So there's 4 weekends of our tennis. So there's a different high school group that comes out. I think the day I was there, it was Caprock and Emerald High. We're out helping the kiddos.
Oh, that's awesome.
Their varsity
tennis. Yeah, I
kids.
love that. Yeah.
And so each week a different group from one of the high schools comes out to work with those young kids, and that's a big deal for the little kids too. So big thank you to those kiddos that come out and volunteer that get the next generation going in tennis. And so I think we had about 250 kids play tennis, which is a real manageable number at the tennis center for 3 sessions on a Saturday. And
that's a lot of kids.
Yeah, it is. And but it's a lot of fun to see those kids. And I'm telling you, I saw some pretty good backhands with those young kids the other day. So
one thing about Alex O'Brien is, he had that mind. We were talking about one of those minds on a different level, but he is so gracious of just like, hey, just get out there and try. You know what I mean? He's not, this guy is a U.S. Open doubles champ, but he never really just like, hey, just come on out. You know what I mean? I don't care how bad you are or how good you are. I just want to, if you want help, I'm here to help you. I've always respected that. Now his kids are at Tascosa, as a matter of fact. Mm-hmm. And I think he got I heard a interview with him, and he's got a real kick out of seeing them actually coach little kids.
I'll never forget the line when he called me. This was back in 2014. He called me and said, "Jimmy, you think we could start a tennis program?" I said, "Well, sure." He said, I'll never forget this line. I just want tennis to quit being perceived as a country club sport.
Yeah, that's Alex.
That is a profound statement coming from a guy that's won a U.S. Open. Yeah. He noticed and he knew that we've got all these nice tennis centers at these high schools around town now, and some really good places for kiddos. If we can just put a racket in their hand and they can keep it, and that's something they can go out and do on their own. He saw that, and here we are.
I respect that about him.
10, 11 years later, it's still a real strong program, and then it's his vision. And then he has programs that if they really like tennis, they can continue in year-round. And so he's got it set up really well and does a good job with it. And I just want to tell all those people involved with that, thanks.
Yeah, I like that. Appreciate that. And when I was a Cub reporter, 12-year-old Alex O'Brien was playing in the adult senior city championship. So my assignment was to go out and do a story on 12-year-old Alex O'Brien, and I was like, what? You know what I mean? 12-year-old was like talking to a 35-year-old. I was like, okay, I get this kid. But at that time, he grew into he's probably 6'2", 6'3".
Yeah,
real athletic man. But he was barely taller than the net at that time, and was just hustling, whacking it back all day, every day. It was a great joy.
I knew his mother really well. Alice was a jewel. She did a lot of stuff down at WT. That's how I got to know her. But I would have loved to have been able to see during their prime him and his brother Blake play one another.
Yeah, Blake.
That would be like WWE wrestling on a tennis court.
Yeah, Blake was underrated. State champion in doubles for Tascosa was Stefan. I forget Stefan's last name. That might be his last name, but yeah, one of the first events I've ever covered as well. But yeah, those two together, I can only imagine. Ooh. But Alex did say this, all mothers out there, all she's told him was always just show up. Just go out there and do your best. Yep. It wasn't, we got to win this. We're going down to the Orange Bowl, whatever, all these elite places. You don't have to win it. Just go out there and show up and do your best. Yeah, and that was kind of his message to him.
She was a super nice lady.
Yeah,
I really
liked
Alice.
That.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, Jimmy, good stuff today, man.
Thank you.
We appreciate you joining us. We are the Fieldhouse Podcast. We are a production of the Kids Inc. Sports Network. Like I always say, we'll see you when we see you.